In Money Watch, if money is a big stressor in your life, money is a big stressor in your life, I'm sure, and you're not alone. According to the John Hancock Financial Stress Survey, 69% of American workers are stressed about money. But a new book may provide some solutions to your financial problems. It's called The Dumb Things Smart People Do with Their Money, 13 Ways to Right Your Financial Wrongs. Just 13. Jill Schlesinger is a CBS News business analyst and the author of that book, and she joins me right now.
Yes.
We like things in easy steps. Hopefully the 13 steps are easy, but you talk about 3 big things that people can do to sort of correct course, because sometimes when you're in the middle of it, it feels like you just can't get out.
Yeah, I mean, I always like to call this the big 3 because I feel like every single problem in your financial life can be addressed if you come back to these big 3 things. And one is to pay down your consumer debt. And, you know, credit card debt or a high interest auto loan, even student loans at their high interest, we want to get that under control. And the second thing is to try to maximize your retirement contributions as much as you can. You know, sometimes we talk about this and people say, I can't do that much. Whatever you can, whatever your
$5 extra bucks, whatever,
it will
10
help.
extras.
Absolutely. And the third thing is to beef up your emergency reserve fund, 6 to 12 months of your living expenses in a safe money market, savings account, checking account. Boring, right? You want it there for you.
You read my mind, because I was thinking to myself, you know, these aren't really that sexy.
I know.
But they're essential.
Absolutely.
What's the biggest mistake people make then? Is it that consumer debt, or is it something else?
I think that the biggest mistake that we make is that we treat our financial life as if it were a mathematical equation, and it's not. We infuse our emotions into everything. And I wish I could tell you it was different, but as I went to research this book and I spoke to psychologists and neurologists, and I found out what happens to the human brain when we feel uncertainty. Your anxiety level starts to skyrocket, and anxiety really does push you into making bad decisions. We're often guided by these emotions, fear and greed, and it leads us to make very bad financial decisions. So what the real critical issue of this book is not don't drink a latte and don't spend, you know, I mean, I know that you should not spend more than you make, but to acknowledge that we are emotional beings, and then to set up ways to make sure that those emotions don't short circuit your financial goals.
That is so smart. You're spot on with that. A lot of people, though, feel like in order to progress, you got to have a good education. In order to get a good education nowadays, you got to pay for it, and so you have to go into debt. That's just the way the cycle works. Is there a way to pay for your education without going into debt?
Absolutely. And I think this is a critical mistake that families make. You know, we just had a new survey out in the last week that shows the fastest growing segment of student loan borrowers are people over the age of 60. 60, my friends.
I have read that.
And it's insane. So what has to happen is we need to have conversations as a family and say, this is what we can afford. These are hard conversations. I get it. And you're not allowed to have that conversation the night before college applications are due. You start at freshman year of high school. And what we really want to try to get a feel for is, hey, how much can we afford? We don't want the kid to be in debt. We don't want the parents to be in debt, especially the parents. What they find is they have to delay retirement. They may have to stop contributing to their retirement plans. They may have to actually work as a part-time job in their 60s after they've already retired. All of these things are critical. And look, I know you want your kids to have an education. The research is there. A college education is important. However, going into debt up to your eyeballs to get that education, that is not a good idea.
Yeah, you know, often people sort of get enamored with having, I don't know, a lofty school name on their resume. And sometimes that really doesn't make a difference when it comes to the job that you're going to get on the back end. I remember doing a story about post-recession, the number of grandparents who were on the hook for student loans because the parents could no longer qualify, and so grandparents did it, and you can't get out of those loans.
No, and you know, interesting, when you have debt and you're older, you could, if this is a federal debt, the federal government can actually look at your Social Security check and garnish some of that Social Security payment that you're counting on to pay down your debt. So bad idea. have the conversation. A lot of this book is basically saying, okay, I know you know how to talk to your kids about sex. Now talk to them about money. And the same thing with your own parents. I mean, I devote a lot of time in the book to talking to your aging parents about what's going on in their financial lives. These are tough conversations, but without them, you could be on the hook and they could be in financial peril.
It's very smart. I've seen families have to deal with these financial issues after parents pass away, and it's so much more complicated. So have those conversations up front. We're talking about saving for retirement, spending for retirement. There's all kinds of stuff in here. Jill Schlesinger, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the dumb things that smart people do with their money, 13 Ways to Right Your Financial Wrongs, is out now wherever you get your books.